It begins and ends with the power that comes from knowing that I'm not what I have, I'm not what I do, I'm not what people say about me. I'm God's child, and He loves me, and that cannot increase and cannot decrease. He loves me, not as I should be, but He loves me just as I am. Your life is not a disappointment to God. He sees all the skeletons in your closet. He knows all of the hidden things of your heart. He knows that one or two things that you haven't told anybody. He knows your past and even knows your future. And you are not a disappointment to God. He loves you, is proud of the fact that you exist because He made you and crafted you in your mother's womb. He knows you and knows the deepest parts of you, and with everything there right now, loves you. And without understanding that, all this other stuff we talk about on the Sermon on the Mount, the way we treat people, the way we try and not be angry, and all these things we do, it's a waste of time if we do not understand God's deep, precious, and ferocious love for you, His son or His daughter. I cannot impress that enough on you. Is your life is not a disappointment to God. He's pleased in you and takes great pleasure in your existence and treasures you. Isn't that encouraging? Brennan Manning, who's a great spiritual thinker and author, discovered this in his own life after trying to sort of muscle out a strong spirituality. And he said that in the twilight of his life, as an old guy, after spending, he said, thousands of hours in solitude and prayer, I realize and I believe in my heart that when we die and come to face God on Judgment Day, God will ask us one question and one question alone. He will ask us when we're standing there before Him, did you believe that I love you? That's a question about grace. When we're standing there before God, He will simply ask us, did you believe that I love you? And the true believers, the true Christians will say, yes, Lord, I knew you loved me, even in my wretchedness, in my sin, in my brokenness, in my hurting, even in my loathing and in my lack of work and laziness and all of those things, I knew you loved me. But some of us, and sometimes I wonder if even myself, a large part, this is a sermon to Bobby Schuller. I say, what would I say? Because when God can see the depths of my heart and words don't matter because He already knows what I did and what I think, can I say, yes, I knew truly my whole life that you loved me. And that was the place from what I did everything in my faith and religion and the way I treated my neighbor. Everything came from knowing that you loved me. See, some of us on that day will say, no, Lord, I think I didn't know you loved me. But I think even for those of us who say that, He will say, well, come and know my love now. Because God's love is so grand and so rich and so unending that if you don't know it now, you will know it then. And you'll wish you had carried it with you through life. Because all morality, all goodness, all strength comes from deeply understanding and knowing God's love. Brennan Manning added this one passage, and it's a bit harsh for church, but I read it years ago, and it's always stuck with me, and so I'd like to read it, and it's a little long, but I hope you forgive me if it's offensive. But he says, because salvation is by grace through faith, I believe that among the countless number of people standing in front of the throne and in front of the Lamb, dressed in white robes and holding palms in their hands, I shall see the prostitute from the Kit Kat Ranch in Carson City, Nevada, who tearfully told me that she could find no other employment to support her 2-year-old son. I shall see the woman who had an abortion and is haunted by guilt and remorse, but did the best she could to face with grueling alternatives. The deathbed convert who for decades had his cake and ate it too, and broke every law of God and man, wallowed in lust, and raped the earth. But how, we ask? Then the voice says, They have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. There they are. There we are, the multitude who so wanted to be faithful, who at times got defeated, soiled by life, and bested by trials, wearing the bloodied garments of life's tribulations, but through it all clung to the faith. My friends, if this is not good news to you, you have never understood the gospel of grace. Amen to that.